Namaste, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Ramanand Sagar Ramayan review from the Hindu Pod. Hello, Vishala. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I feel ready.
Very nice.
I feel ready.
Did you have a good week?
Yeah. How about you?
Did you get in any trouble?
No.
I like that pause. All right. So before we start today's review, we actually got a little bit of feedback from our last podcast, and I kind of wanted to share that and probably talk a little bit about it. So we had a listener that said that I've heard that it was Narad Muni that was tied up by Ratnakar. Ratnakar, of course, is Valmiki before he got the name of Valmiki, and this is when he used to be a thief. It was Narad Muni that was tied up by Ratnakar and not the Saptaharishis. Please clarify. The answer to that would be yes, both. So there are multiple tellings of this story. Sometimes it is the Saptaharishis, sometimes it is Narada, and I would not be surprised that we might hear different versions that it was other people. We have to keep in mind that last week we talked about the cycle of time. Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kali Yug. When that's done, it happens again and again and again. And not the same characters play the same roles all the time. So it's important that we don't get too tied up in the particulars of the story and that we try to understand the big picture. What is the message that's trying to be presented by the scriptures? That's what we need to focus on. So I just want to say thanks for all your reviews, for your kind words of encouragement. Please take a moment to review the podcast on the service of your choice, since that will help to share the program and more people will find it. All right. So Shala, why don't you tell us a little bit about this episode? Which episode are we going to be working on?
Episode 2.
And do you know the IMDB description of that episode?
Childhood of Shri Ram, third ceremony of Shri Ram, fundamental education imparted to Shri Ram in Gurukul.
Excellent. And the title is Rama Going to Gurukul. It's got a rating on IMDb of 8.8 stars, and the original air date is the 1st of February, 1987. And Vishala, where can people find this episode of the Ramayana?
YouTube?
Yep, that's where we found it. So we will post a link to the show notes, and so it'll be easier for you guys to be able to find it. So what are your overall thoughts about this episode?
So this is probably my second time hearing Ramayana. It's my first time seeing a visual of it. And so I don't remember if there's anything missing from what I've seen before. So what I'm seeing now is what's sticking with me, and I don't know if there's anything that was left out. So when you're telling stories about something that was left out from the show, then I'd be oh wait, yeah, I remember that now. But I wouldn't have remembered it before if you hadn't pointed it out.
Yeah, to me honestly, so last week I thought that it was rushed. This week, yeah, they did go by pretty quickly because we start with the last scene of the previous episode. And by the end of this scene, they're in Gurukul. But still, I feel like this one was better paced than the last one. And there are a couple things in here that I really liked. So as we go along the podcast, I will talk a little bit more about it. I tell you what, how about this week? We let you take the lead, and I will help.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, you go on ahead.
So the episode starts right where we left off, where they were naming the children. So the scene cuts to Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, and Lord Shiva is praying to Lord Ram. And Mother Parvati asks, who is this person you're praying to, you're worshipping all the time? And Lord Shiva says, there's only one that I worship, and that is Lord Ram. So Mother Parvati asks to see Lord Ram to pay respects. And when Lord Shiva shows her, Lord Ram is down he's in the palace, and he's playing with all his friends. And it shows a scene where King Dashrath's trying to like get him to like come to him and like play with him, and Lord Rama just isn't listening. He's running away, and I honestly thought that was kind of funny. It was really cute, and just how he just like started running the opposite direction from King Dashrath. I thought that was a little funny.
So did you hear the song that they were playing?
Mm-hmm.
Tumakachalata Ramachandra. It is one of my absolute favorite bhajans. You know, we sing a little bit, and I have a habit that if I really love a song, I won't sing it because I'm afraid that it's going to mess it up. And that is one of the songs that I will never sing just because I love it so much.
The next scene shows the boys, and they're a little older. They're asleep, and their mothers are singing a song, and they're going to wake up their children.
Seems kind of counterproductive to sing a song to wake them up. Eh? You think that that's a lullaby, put them to sleep?
So each mother goes to their children to wake them up, and when Kaushalya goes to wake Ram up, he immediately gets up and he's looking for his bow, and his mother's just like really confused. And so Lord Ram tells his mother that he has a competition with his brothers to see who can shoot down the most mangoes from a tree. Oh my god!
Yeah, they're like kids today. They're more concerned about all the other things that they have to do, and they don't care about the things they're supposed to do in the morning when they wake up, right? You're supposed to get up, you're supposed to brush your teeth, you're supposed to take a shower, and the moms are telling them, okay, I understand you have to do this, but you have to get up, you have to take a bath, you have to do puja, you have to worship your parents, you have to have breakfast, and then you have to play, right? Mm-hmm. So just as it is today, you notice that they are following the same trend as what kids today try to do. But of course, there are dharmas that everybody has to perform, and they're trying to explain to them that this is your dharma that you should be performing.
So after they do all their morning needs and everything, they go and they start the competition, and they all shoot down their mangoes, and at some point they all shoot an arrow at the same time, and one of their arrows hits the mango, and they all start arguing over whose arrow hit the shot the mango down.
Yeah.
And I found it really funny when
just boys having fun, right?
I found it really funny when the queens came out and they saw the boys arguing, and they were like, "Oh, what a nice sight." I don't know.
You have to remember, right? For so many years, they didn't have anybody. They didn't have any children. And to come out and just see four of them, all of a sudden, they're all jumping up and laughing and having fun.
Yeah.
The joy in their hearts. Which, let me make a correction right there, because it's not that they didn't have any children. They had a daughter, and her name was Shanta. And she actually was married to Rishi Shringa, the same Pandit that did the Putrish Yagna. She was married to him.
Their daughter?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So I was supposed to have said that last week, and I forgot. So I'm putting it in now.
And so the queens are laughing, and they're watching their sons having fun. And one of the queens say how we better enjoy it while it lasts, because soon we're not going to be able to see this anymore. The queen explains how the princes will have to go to Gurukul.
So, do you know what a Gurukul is?
I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna guess probably like a school or something like that.
Right, well, it is a school, but like how we have boarding schools here, where you would send your child and that child will stay for an extended period of time, and just all they're concerned about is learning, just studying. That's what a Gurukul is.
Oh.
So that is where that idea of schooling came from, is from the Gurukul system.
So it's just they go to school and they wake up, they just do school all day.
School. And the guru teaches you everything that you need to know, so that when you come out of there, you are prepared for life.
So the queens, they want to delay the day that they have to leave because they love their sons. They don't want their sons to go. The palace will be lonely and quiet without them. And so, but then the But then the king explains how now is a good time for them to go because, like, they're at a young age. They could learn a lot. It's good for them to learn at this age.
Right. So he's saying that now is the time, right? This is the point in their life that they need to go and do this. Now, in Sanatan Dharma, there are 4 stages of life, right? It is the brahmachari, grihastha, vanprasth, and sannyasi. Brahmachari is the learning age. That's when you are younger, right? Till about 20, 25 years old. So this is when you would go to school, you would go to college, you go to university, you get your degrees and all of that, right? Brahmachari, then grihastha. Grihastha is when you get married. That's when you have your children. That is when you're going to be acquiring all your property, your cars, whatever you need to live a comfortable life, for your family to live a comfortable life. That is the grihastha ashram. Vanprasth now, your children are grown and you start to give up. You start to hand your possessions over to them. You start to make sure that they're okay. And you are very slowly trying to relieve yourself of all your worldly possessions. And sannyasi, at this point, you've given up everything. Your children owns everything. They can support you. They take care of you. But your life at this point is focused on God. That's your primary purpose, is to focus your life on God and to work towards moksha. So when they go to Gurukul, they are entering that brahmachari stage, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what when Dasharatha says it's that point in their life now, this is the time for them to do it. That's why that's important. That you in brahmachari stage, this is what you have to do, go do it.
The king explains all the rituals and everything they have to do, and how they would have to wear a sacred thread and take a vow of celibacy. And Dasharatha explains how there will be specific rules at the hermitage, like there will be no beds, no umbrellas for sun, or no sort of royalty or anything. And they all have to be equal.
Right. So why is it that they all have to do the same thing? One of the things that I don't remember which one of the boys it was that had said that, well, I will just come home and I will ask my mom for alms. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Raja Dasharatha says, no, you can't do that. And they ask him, why? Why can't I just come and get it from my mom? He says, you're not allowed to accept alms from your family. And the reason for that is that you are a prince. You can get all sorts of things when you go to beg, right? And then you go back to the Gurukul, and not everybody else has that same privilege that you do. And you will have so much and they will have so little. So it's unfair to the rest of them for you to come and ask from your house. So that is forbidden to do that. It's a way of being equal. It's a way of everybody being on the same playing field and everybody learning and practicing the exact same thing.
So it's fair?
Yes, it makes it more fair.
Okay. So he explains how they will learn different things like the holy texts, the Upanishads. Is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good.
He explains how they will learn the holy texts, the Upanishads, geography, math, music, all sorts of stuff. And the next scene shows everything, all the rituals, everything starts. And Vishishta gives the boys their first lesson. Matri, should I say it?
Right. So he's given them the Janeva Sanskar. So they're all wearing the threads now. Mm-hmm. So this is the first thing that they have to do before they can go to Gurukul, right? He sits with them and he calls them celibates, right? So that means that they took a vow of celibacy. And the reason that is because while you are brahmachari, you are in this stage of your life, you should not have any relationship with anybody of the opposite sex. And the reason for that is because you want to focus your mind on learning. The time for that will come when you become grihastha. As you're preparing to enter the grihastha ashram, that is when you will find somebody. But until that point, he calls them celibates, which means they are not with anybody else. They are just themselves.
Okay.
Right? He also, one of the things that he points out to them, and I thought was very good, he says, take my good qualities, but ignore the bad ones. Now, this is very important, especially for today, because we have a lot of people that, teachers, pundits, lecturers, that kind of thing, that we look at them and we say, how can I follow him? How can I follow her? Look at the life that he leads. Look at the life that she leads. Here, Guru Vasishtha is telling us, listen, forget the bad things. Focus on the good things. You can look at anybody and you can find positive things in their life. Forget about the bad things that they do. Nobody is perfect. None of us is perfect. Guru Vasishtha is such a great personality, and he is saying, I am not perfect. Just take the good, leave the bad. So this is a good lesson that we can take in our own lives. Today, it still applies to us, even more so now than then. Still applies. We take that and we practice that.
So he gives them their first lesson, which is Matre Deva Bhava, Pitri Deva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava, meaning your parents is God, your ancestors are God, and Guru is God.
Very good, yes. Yeah, so it cuts to the puja is being performed, and then the boys are begging for alms. They walk up to their parents. So this is the only time that they're allowed to do it, to go to their moms, because there's nobody else there at that point, right? So this is the only time they go up to their moms and they ask for alms. And let me tell you something about this, right? So I have taken this sanskar. When that string is placed on you, you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, because all of a sudden you have this huge responsibility to live up to. It's something that literally, it does change your life when you get it. Your mindset totally changes. And the most difficult part of that entire ceremony, although you know the people you're going to take something in your hand, to take a thali, to take a bag or something, and walk up to them and ask and to beg, it is very demeaning. It really makes you question your life. Although you know it's set up, you know that those people are there for that and they are willingly giving it to you, it just makes you feel so small. And I discussed this with the pundit that did the ceremony for me, and he said, yes, that is the purpose of that, because it is meant to teach you humility. No matter how much you think you have in life, this is meant to make you humble. And if you think about it, these boys are princes. They have had everything in their lives handed to them from the day that they were born. And now finally, they are at the stage where everything is stripped away from them. Even their clothes, they're wearing these saffron robes, and they're getting ready to go and stay in the ashram with the guru. They're not going to have any bed. They're not going to be wearing anything in their foot. Even talks about having an umbrella over their head. They're not even going to have that. And this entry into this world, I can tell you, is devastating for them.
I can imagine that. What I think about when I hear that is like when you're just leaving home and like you don't really have anything, you're looking around and you're like, wait, I don't have as much as I thought I did. Like, this seems a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Like,
you're never going to have as much as you thought you did. I'm telling you that much.
I haven't been through that yet, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, that's probably what's going to go through my mind when I like move out or something like that. That's probably what's going to go through my mind.
Yeah. Don't worry about that yet. I'll tell you when to worry about that.
Well, I know, it's just still it's going through my mind. That's going through my mind now. So yeah, all that happens, and they go and they leave with Vasishtha.
Right. So they immediately leave as soon as they are done begging, right? And you remember why they had to leave immediately?
I remember you explaining it, but I don't remember why.
Right. So I think Guru Vasishtha says it, that now that you are a beggar. You have come to this house and you have begged at this house. You are not allowed to stay here anymore. You take, you say thank you, and you leave. And the thing that stuck out to me in this scene was that when the guru turns and he leaves, the four boys turn and they leave. There is no hug. There is no kiss. There is no nothing. Now these four children are his. All the queens can do, all Raja Dasharatha could do, is wait for this period of their life to be over, and then they get their children back. And that, for me, I would imagine, is a devastating thing for them to have to go through.
So the next scene is back at the palace, and everyone is restless. They can't like. I would imagine they're really sad and emotional because the princess just left and they're unable to eat or anything.
Yeah, so I saw this, right, and I'm seeing the three queens are there, and they have no food in front of them. They don't want to eat, and Raja Dasharatha, he's sitting down, and I thought that this was funny. And he has the food and he puts it up to his mouth, and then he stops and he looks on both sides, and he realizes, wait a minute, nobody else is eating. So he took the food, he put it back down, and he's like, I'm not hungry. And they all get up and they leave. I thought that was pretty funny.
So yeah, so now it cuts back in Gurukul, which is just class. They're praying to Saraswati, and after that praying, he starts giving his lessons. He explains how if you live a sattvic life, meaning an organic life, you'll be healthy.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. They're praying to Saraswati Mata, and why is that?
For knowledge.
Right, so Saraswati Mata is the goddess of knowledge. For every new thing that you're going to be learning, you turn to Saraswati Mata first, right? Whether it be schoolwork, it be music, anything that you want to learn, right? You go to Saraswati Mata first. So that murti that's there in the ashram, that huge murti is there to remind them that this is who they need to go to. First thing you do in the morning is you offer your prayers to Saraswati Mata, and that's what it's teaching them. So that's what I really love this episode for that. There's so much little details that's in it that you might miss if you don't know about it and you don't think about it. But then if you know a little bit and you see it, you're like, yes, I feel good to see that.
I wasn't thinking about that before. Now that you mentioned that Saraswati was there, I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he explains how if you live a sattvic life, meaning an organic life, then you'll be healthy. And the kids, they ask, I don't remember who it was, but they ask, why aren't you allowed like any beds, or why do they have to be barefoot? And Vishishta says how they have to train themselves to be tough without all these things, like just in case of sickness or weakness.
Right. So you never know what's going to happen in your life. There's going to be so many things that you're going to have to face that you never know. So this is the point in your life that you have to prepare for it. Now, knowing what we know that is going to happen, who do you think is going to most benefit from this?
Probably Lord Ram.
Right, Lord Rama, Lakshman, because eventually they go to the forest. They have to sleep on the floor. Mm-hmm. They don't have any umbrella over their head. Bharat comes and takes his shoes and goes with it. So, he's walking around barefoot. So this here, at this point in time, they can't see what the purpose of all of this is. But the Guru knows. The Guru has the experience. And he can guide you because he can see, he can understand, okay, these are things that they would have to do. I'm going to teach them politics because they're going to be princes. And while they're here, everybody else is going to learn about it as well. Right? He's going to teach them archery because they have to be Kshatriyas. They have to be defenders of their kingdom. He's going to teach them mantras so that they know what mantras to say. And, there are mantras for everything. There's mantras that if you want to control your hunger, right? You can say this mantra and it'll help you to control your hunger. I remember I had a guru and he gave us this mantra. He said, listen, if you can practice this mantra, you will actually be able to fly. There's all kinds of things that you can do using mantras. So it's important to be in this environment where you have the time that you could study it, you could learn how to use all of these different things, and you would be able, when the time comes, that you are able to practice it. So if we could just back up for a little bit. So Guru Vashishta is giving them their first lesson at the ashram, and he talks about taking care of their bodies. And I think this is a pretty important part. He talks about the 5 elements that makes up their body and the relationship between these elements, and the fact that they have to be within balance of each other. So this is critical to us taking care of ourselves. It talks about the relationship between ourselves and the cosmos. And when he was talking about that, it kind of reminded me, if I could get nerdy a little bit, about Qui-Gon Jinn, when he was talking in the first episode, Phantom Menace, and he was talking about midichlorians and their relationships with us and how everything all interacts. It reminded me a lot about that. So, it's you get a little bit of Sanatan Dharma theology is mixed into pop culture kind of thing, and we see that happening all the time. I believe the next episode, it talks about the different chakras in the body, and we will see that in modern day. It's considered a Buddhist theology. It actually comes from Sanatan Dharma, where it talks about the different chakras in your body and how to align it and how to use it. That will be in the next episode. So I just think that this talk that Guru Vashishta is having with them is very beneficial. And for anybody that's watching the TV series, focus a little bit on it because it will be beneficial for you.
So the scene cuts to the kids sweeping, and Guru Ma wants to help. Like she goes to them and she's like, "No, it's okay. I can do this for you. You don't have to do it."
Yeah, so what she's saying is that the rest of the Gurukul is for them to practice. The rest of the Gurukul is for them to do service. When they come to her house, this is a place of relaxation. It is a place for them to feel comfortable and not feel like they have to do anything. So she's telling them that, just leave that alone.
So she tells the boys that they can go and they could rest. She can get them something to drink. And the boys are like, "No, we have lots of chores to do, and they cannot rest because they have chores."
Yeah, because the cow was harassing the deer and all of this. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
So,
did you see how they was sweeping in the yard?
Yes.
Oh my God! I looked at this. I was like, "Oh, give me that broom!" Oh God, that was
they
crazy.
They were just sweeping into each other's. And so Guruma takes the broom and they go and they do their chores. That's what I assume, because it just cuts to them going to sleep. And they're what's that room called?
Yeah, I guess it's a common room.
Okay.
So remember, she told them that you could come and stay with me, because they tell her that they haven't slept since they come here because they're missing their mom so much. So she said, "Well, at night you could come and sleep by me. It's no problem." And they say, "No, we can't come and sleep by you." And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, the Guru tell them that they can't sleep by her. They have to sleep in that room. And they said, "No, we can't come and sleep by you because you're not going to sing us a lullaby. Bhai Ram will sing the lullaby, but you don't sing lullaby, so we can't come and sleep by you." I thought that was pretty funny too.
So they're in the room and they're going to sleep, and they all want Ram to sing them a lullaby, and they're all like, we miss our mother, please Ram, sing us a lullaby. And so Ram is gonna go sing them a lullaby, but then that's when Guru Ma walks in instead, and she starts to sing. And as she's singing, all the boys, they're imagining their own mothers singing them a lullaby, and I honestly thought that was really sweet. I like that a lot. So they're all going to sleep, imagining that not Guru Ma is sing them a lullaby, but their own mother.
That also is a very beautiful song. It's a Aja Aja in India. It's a lullaby calling the sleep and saying, come and be here with the boys and help the boys to sleep. It's such a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm. I watched the episode over multiple times, and I would get excited every time that song came up. Like, I really like
Yeah.
that song. So, soon they all fall asleep, and I'm not sure if I missed anything, but soon they all fall asleep, and Guruma walks out, ending the episode.
Yeah, that was it. Tell me something. What's your impression of Guruma? What do you think about Guruma?
I think she just wants to provide like the best comfort to all the boys, and she wants to make sure they're. Like,
yeah, I think so too. I think she genuinely really loves the boys, and I think she does show some favoritism to the four. You know, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan. But at the same time, I think that she does genuinely care for all the boys. And in the next episode, I believe we're going to see where she has a conversation with Guru Vashishta. And she's telling Guru Vashishta that he's being too hard on them, and they do need to have the love of their parent there, you know, or at least some facsimile of that love. So she does stand up for them, and I think there is genuine love there. She does look out for them as though they were her own child. So do you think we missed anything?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so too. If you guys listening see that we missed anything, feel free to reach out to us, leave it in the review, or send us an email, and we'll be happy to cover it next week. What were your overall thoughts about the episode?
So like I said before, it's probably like my second time hearing Ramayan, so like this is like one of my first impressions on it. I don't know like anything that was like left out. So
yeah, it's well, there are a couple shortcuts. The Ramayan doesn't really give you a whole lot on the childhood of Shri Ram itself. You do hear from time to time certain kathas about things that happened when the Lord was younger, and maybe they could have put in some of that. But again, you know, this is TV, and maybe in the interest of getting the story moving, they might have left some of that out. I would think that maybe I would like to see some of that as well, some of the childhood of the Lord. But you know, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed this episode. I really did. Was there anything that stood out to you?
I was looking through it, and honestly, not really. There wasn't like anything specific that stood out. For
me, thanks for asking. For me, it was the music. I love the music. I love the songs. I thought that was pretty good. Is there anything? What was your favorite part?
When when Guruma was singing the boys the lullaby, and they were all imagining their mother. I thought that was sweet, that because they miss their mother so much to the point where they're just imagining their own mother singing them the lullaby. That was really sweet to me. Yeah, that was really nice.
For me, I liked in that same scene. Remember, they're all lying down and they're begging Shri Ram to sing the lullaby for them, but Shri Ram isn't focused on that. He is focused on bandaging Bharat's arm, because he wants to, first of all, let me take care of my brother first. And then when I'm done taking care of my brother, whatever you guys want me to do, I will do. And before he can start singing, I kind of wanted to hear him sing it, but before he started singing, Guruma comes in and she starts to sing. How about dislikes? Is there anything that you disliked about the episode?
Not really, no. Nothing,
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything either. I could not think anything either. I think that this episode is pretty good. Like I said before, I really like it. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I would like to thank you for listening. It really means a lot to us to have your support. So this has been a presentation of the Hindu Pod. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and rate this episode, since this helps to bump us up in the feeds, which helps others to find the podcast. Please send comments to thehindupod@gmail.com. That's thehindupod@gmail.com. You can text us at 281-804-9616, or you can just search Facebook for The Hindu Pod. If you live in the Houston area, You can find us most Sundays at the Sanatan Dharm Mandir for Sunday morning satsang. They are located at 12918 Player Street in Houston, 77045. They are open Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. We are sponsored by HinduHandcrafts.com. Please visit HinduHandcrafts.com for Hindu religious-based items such as framed pictures, wall plaques, tapestries, t-shirts, clocks, and so on. They are perfect for puja use, home decor, or gifts. Until next time, Jai Shri Ram.